Just a sec. The bike you want's rarely around when you first need it, so you gotta go exploring for stuff. I live in about 200 square feet of space and I lose stuff. Can you believe it? So part of the advantage of getting sick is eventually it wears off. Like beating your head against the wall. Anyway, I still have a bit of a puffy face here. I don't know if you can notice it or not, but the pain is being ameliorated by narcotic medications and ample quantities of cannabis sativa. My prescription for everything. Our friendly little perfect pipe. I've probably got $500 worth of pipes in here. I spent $10 on this one. It's by far the best. The pipes are better. I mean, this is not a dissertation on how to smoke pot. What we're going to talk about today is basically life 101. Like, you know, like, I want to speak about things that I know something about, and there's nothing I'm going to say in this tape that is exaggerated or is without black and white substance. You know, and the first thing I want to point out is that, you know, we are your King of Kings, and we have a job to do here. We're going to get our job done. One way or another, the job's going to get done. It's been written a long time ago, and you know, even whether I read the scriptures or not, things fall into place anyway. You understand? Like, so basically, we're all here doing our bit, and I'm here doing my bit. You're here doing your bit. And basically, we all serve God, contrary to what Richard Dinkins and Carl Sagan assert, and most psychiatrists today, because they view God as any type of spiritual intrusion into their domain as a threat. So they seek to invalidate the value of spirit. But think about this: you ever tap your toe to music? That's a spiritual phenomenon. It's called empathy. And, you're empathizing with musicians, and they're empathizing with you. And so music is a spiritual soup right from the get-go. It's a phenomenon that has clear and present advantages to anybody who has the ears to hear it. I think it was Plato who said to Socrates, music calms the trunk. Like, Socrates is very into locating correlation between metaphysical phenomena and bodily grip. And he was good at it, too. It makes a lot of sense. You know, you store things in your spleen, your liver. And, you know, people store resentments, they get, you know, cancer. I mean, it's, you know, it's, anybody who's done any spiritual work, you know, this is clear, too. And you know, like, so, you have a spirit, whether you like it or not, whether it makes sense or not, whether Ricky Dinkins approves or not, even he has one. Doesn't matter whether your father was an atheist and your mother was a rabbinical Jew, a Hasidic Jew. But look, women can't be rabbis, I don't think, can they? Anyway. I don't think they can. So that's interesting that both the Catholics and the Jews agree on something. That women don't make good priests. Now, men don't make good priests either. But women make much less good priests than men make. Like, let me give you, for instance, with jurists. In Canada today, we have females basically humping the juristic process in Ontario, Canada. They've got women who basically run the courts, and so they run the sentencing. They run basically as if it's a PMS parade, and it follows the same originating principles as a PMS parade. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're wrong or not. I'm saying you're wrong. You're wrong. And so this is what's occurring. Like myself have enjoyed. This is a democratic country. I give all these people in Iran, everybody that want to come here need to understand this. Canada and the United States seem to be cracked up to be the best place on earth to live. Well, you're free here. Free to do what? Like, I expressed my freedom of speech to a government employee who had proven herself to have perjured herself to me in sworn court documents already, and who had lied to me and continued to lie to me on practically every occasion we met, had the balls to assert that I was lying about something, and I don't lie, not even to her. For she's not worth it for me to lie to her. So, and so I told her that she was a diseased and disease-provoking, PMSing cunt, and to get the fuck out of my life. Now, that made her mad. Ooh. She boiled, and she got Stu trouble together, and they knit up a really nice little blankie for me. They wanted to throw me in the penitentiary for that, for having attitude to her. It's not polite. And the same delirious cunt perjures herself twice in black and white in my court hearing. A jurist, also female, who's so dim-witted that she doesn't connect the dot that, this man's doctor's here saying he diagnosed him with pneumonia 3 weeks earlier. He made the appointment, he just didn't stay. Could have been a couple hours wait. Man was sick. That did not register with the jurist. The jurist was not lucid enough to see this. What the jurist saw was, we have a pissed off cunt here, and a tall, good-looking male, and he's at fault. Fuck him. Now, I think, male jurists, when it came to, females being raped and stuff like that, were a crude bunch of piece of work. But women take what's generally a crude piece of work and turn it into a voluble science. They have women's studies now. PhD programs in women's fucking studies. What the fuck is women's studies? Women's studies is the fuel for the women's revenge movement. Geniuses that they are. Women decided, let's get even with men for all the aggravation we've ever had. Look, they're stupid. It must be them. All that suffering they've caused us. We want our 10 pounds of flesh. 2 pounds of flesh, whatever Sherlock was into. This is your women speaking. The women's liberation come revenge movement. Okay. That started about 40 years ago. At the time we told these women, we said, you know what, you're not going to get liberation, you're going to get something. But liberation will not be the fruit of this exercise. We spoke with the stellar leading lights of the organization in Canada at the time, and they were uninterested. See, they thought they could get just women's liberation. Fuck men. We don't want to bother with men. Men are assholes, and they're bad and wrong. And so we're going to discount men. They had little secret little groups they get together and share with each other and make up stories about how badly men had treated them in their lives. I think my sister's got a story made up about how I raped her when she was a teenager. Except for most of her teenage life, I was away. I was living in New York City. I was only home for maybe a few months. And I didn't like her. Not even her own mother believed her. My sister told her, and she says, well, why don't you believe me? She says, you and Blake were at war at that time, and if there was any way you could possibly have hurt him then, you would have used that, and you didn't. You know, and you're telling me now, 25 years later, 30 years later, and you know, it was never mentioned then at all. I don't believe you, Jackie. That's what the daughter of my mother got to hear when she claimed that I raped her. Now, I didn't know my mother was that smart. If any daughter of mine told me that I raped her, I'd be very upset. So women know women lie about anything. See, this is unconscionable. If I caught a man lying about me like that, I'd probably kill him. Understand? And women do this cavalierly. I might have killed him at one time. Like, it would have been grounds for. I would expect to be killed if I had, you know, if I did that to some other man, and that, you know, and they found out I did this. So you need help in your deductive reasoning, and basically you're living an unguided life. See, my God is different than the God you worship. My God's heart's desire is to bring me my heart's desire, whatever that is. And so my heart's desire really was a boy that I met when I was 11, and then again when I was 17. And I had traveled 700 miles to do it. Doesn't seem like she's willing to travel 700 miles to me these days. But anyway, the thing is, I fell in love, and it was with a boy, and I didn't know what to do. I never thought of falling in love with a boy before. Never entered my head. But there I was, in love with a boy, and so I know what to do. So, make a long story short, the boy died. Now, my God has brought that boy back in a girl's body, a new skin for me. Not only that, but also she brings with her a blueprint for the next stage of human evolution, if you will, Richie and Carl. It's called love and the good. Evil is ending. Actually, it's over. It's just got to finish its death struggles. It's done. Evil is over, and the good has begun. And she's something special. This one. She's also your mom, and she's also my wife. Always has been. So there's lots of dimensions and levels of consciousness for the human being to participate in. And to ignore these is your privilege and your right. It's a right you have as a human being to ignore this. But it's also a right of heaven to ignore you also. You should know that. So, when it comes time for your mud to wear out, your mud will wear out and you get to dance with worms. For those of you who are willing to labor for that which you can't see right now, but you know it's inside of you, like you know you have a spirit somewhere inside of you. And so what we're inviting you to do is to look with nothing new, with the same glasses that all the old prophets, all the ancient masters, and we reiterate to you. Worship the truth. It's inside of you to do. You don't have to go no place. You don't have to pay nobody. You don't have to get a degree. I'll tell you something. I've got, I think, grade 10 education. And I would be delighted to challenge the entire MIT, Harvard, and Yale faculty to a debate on the nature of life, the nature of reality, the nature of reason, the nature of thinking. And I like to do it as publicly as possible. And we got the internet today, so we can do it all over the world for free. Boom. Instant. I'm an instant network. If you are not loving and in love, you are at the most 5% alive. If you have no fire in your belly, you're a walking corpse. Basically a turd factory looking for a free lunch. See, I want to be proud of you when I present you to Allah. There's stuff happening. You know, whether you know about it or not, it doesn't matter whether you know about it or not. There's stuff happening, and you're part of it. You're alive. You're sentient. You can cognize fraud. It's your turn at bat. It's your show, and it's happening right now. So you got things you got to do, or not. And one of the things you got to do, or not, is worship the truth, as if your life depends on it, because it does. In a very real way, so does mine too. So I have an investment in you winning, as big and as robustly as you possibly can. I seek no limit to your wins. I seek only to limit your disease, your bullshit, and kill your disease, your bullshit, and your predisposition to invalidation. So, just so you know, we got, you know, I'm in this corner, and if you want to be, you can be in the other corner, and we're going to have ourselves a little war. You know, I promise not to sneak up behind you in the back and shoot you, no matter how pissed off I get with you. If I'm going to do you, I'm going to do you to your face, where you got a chance to win. Mano a mano. So George Bush, I piss you off, you come and see me man to man, and you tell me why I piss you off, what lies I've said about you. Dick Cheney, same thing, you know, any lie I ever told about you, I will apologize in front of the world to you for. You know, your complicitness in 9/11, all that. If it's not true, I'll kiss your butt. But it is true. And you know it. And that's why you hope I'll just disappear and vanish. Maybe send some Navy SEALs after me so you can snuff me out. I wish you'd wait a few years before you do that, because I'd like to get some babies happening and things first. And I'd like you to read my book before you make any decisions like that, all right? Any of you who want to kill me, you know, like my attitude. I got 3 books written, you know, a crackhead can understand them. It's not, you know, rocket science to read. They're fairly thick books. But I think you'll experience some value and a difference in yourself when you're finished reading them that you can never change. So, I'm your King of Kings. This is Wednesday, April 10th. And this is basically your life 101. Like, you got lots of stuff to learn. And you should really be thankful there's a bunch of us, not just me, there's a bunch of us around to show you the way home. Because you do have a home to come to. It's true. It may not look like that way. It may not look that way sometimes, but you do.